Hello, I'm Mark Chussell, the founder of Advanced Competitive Strategies. Thank you for joining me for this ACS strategy story, How to Judge a Strategy. I know that judging a strategy sounds pretty simple. Just take the results and subtract the target. If you get a positive number, the results beat the target. If you get a negative number, the results miss the target. And if you get zero, the results match the target. But as I will argue, that's wrong. That's how you measure results versus targets, but it's not how to judge a strategy or a strategist. It might sound like nitpicking, but it is not. That is, unless we think nitpicking means abandoning good strategies, firing good strategists, and betting the company on trend lines from the past. So the short version of this slide is that I have researched and consulted in competitive strategy around the world for over 40 years. The rest is detail. So we should not judge a strategy, as I said, by seeing how close it got to our targets. Here's why. What we do affects our results, but we do not control our results. We are not the only ones taking action. There's competitors, for example, but not only competitors. There's customers, government regulators, suppliers, distributors, the economy, the weather, and politicians. They affect our outcomes too, and no amount of data from the past can eliminate that uncertainty. Yes, we agree there's always uncertainty. I'm talking about exploring the uncertainty before we make a strategy decision rather than trying to explain why we miss targets. So we judge outcomes before we choose. That's how we choose. We choose the strategy that we think is going to have the best outcome. But we cannot know the outcome in advance. There's competitors, customer needs, the economy, et cetera, as we were saying before. Now here we see two fictitious strategies. Strategy one, shown in the blue columns, has an 82% probability of a not good outcome and an 18% probability of a good outcome. Strategy two in the green columns is the reverse. 18% chance of a not good outcome, 82% chance that it will be a good outcome. Strategy two is clearly the better choice. It is possible, though, that it will produce a not good outcome, and the odds are 18% of that, but it was a good decision nonetheless. Now, this chart is from the ongoing top pricer tournament that I've run for about 15 years. Over 2,000 people around the world have entered it, and many of my Harvard Business Review digital articles have focused on results and insights from the tournament. These two strategies, strategy 285 and 1350, are from real human beings, and they have exactly the same 82% and 18% probabilities that we just saw. They're just broken up into more levels of good and not good. This chart summarizes each strategy's performance in over 2 million possible futures. And the thing is, both of these people thought they had chosen the best strategy. We know that because otherwise they would have chosen something else. And yet we can easily see the big differences in those strategies. So here's how we should judge a strategy. There's three things that we should care about. And this is the definition that I use in my cyborg strategy technology, including the top riser tournament. First is it will get you what you want. Second, it has as little risk as possible. And third, it's better than the alternatives. The idea of getting what you want is called expected value. If you flip a fair coin 100 times, and if you get $1 for each time you get heads, your expected value is $50. You might get more, you might get less, but $50 is what you can reasonably expect. Getting more than that would mean that you had good luck, and getting less would mean that you had bad luck. You can use a single metric like dollars or profitability or market share, or you can use a combination of metrics, including profitability and market share and something else. That's a concept that economists call utility. A single coin toss is very high risk in the sense that you have no idea how it will turn out And the only two possibilities are the two extremes, heads or tails. The opposite of risky is robust. You can be confident that a robust strategy will perform close to its expected value. It's like being a customer with a satisfaction guarantee. Now, remember the archery target with all the holes scattered around? That shows a lack of robustness and the presence of risk because the results are so scattered. The multiple holes on the target remind us that there are multiple possible outcomes. That, by the way, is why competitive strategy cannot be solved with forecasting. Think of it this way. What our competitors do affects us, and we don't know what they will do, and even they don't know what they will do because what they do depends on what we do, and on and on. It's complicated. Now, better than the alternatives, the term for that is dominance. That's a game theory term. And it's a simple idea, but we should be clear about it. A strategy is dominant when there is no other strategy known to you that would be better according to the metric or utility that you care about. In strict dominance, you get more of something and you don't have to sacrifice anything. In weak dominance, you can make trade offs. And the best strategy is, I'm sorry, it depends. I wish I knew, but I don't. I would tell you if I knew after I pocketed a few $1 billion. Now, it depends on what you want. It depends on what your competitors want. It depends on what your competitors do. It depends on external events and so on. There's plenty of people who will tell you what the best strategy is, and they might be sincere, but they don't know either. No human being does. That's because, like the archery target with all the holes, there are many possible outcomes, and we cannot possibly sort through them all in our heads. That's something I learned from running billions of simulations and from wargaming scores of real companies around the world. But let's state it a different way. There is hope because we can do a better job of judging strategies for our businesses. It might not be perfect, but it doesn't have to be perfect to be better than conventional approaches. A simple and free approach is to brainstorm futures. A new competitor will disrupt our industry. Our main factory is disabled by a flood. Our top product gets hit with a scandal. Their top executive gets hit with a scandal. Ask yourself 3 questions about each possible future that you can think of. How likely is it? How much impact would it have? And how unprepared are we for it? A little deeper and still free is to do this: switch from confirming evidence to disconfirming evidence. What would make this strategy fail? It doesn't mean the strategy will fail. It just means that you anticipate and you prevent. Deeper still, now starting to come with price tags. Competitive intelligence. Competitive intelligence specifically looks for what competitors are doing. I recommend that you also look at how competitors make decisions because that will help you know how they might respond to you. Even deeper still, qualitative business war games. The usual question that we ask is something like, what do you think they will do? And that's sort of a wimpy question. Here's an energizing, thought-provoking question. If you were them, what would you do? Now, that can be scary like broccoli, but it's good for you. Best of all, quantitative business war games and strategy simulation. That's where you calculate the expected value, the robustness, and the dominance of different strategy options that are open to you. Now, remember this, your strategy is a bet. You don't control the future, and therefore you don't know the future. All you can do, and you do it all the time, is place a bet. The trick is to place good bets. And the way that you do that is by making high quality decisions. And the way you make high quality decisions is that you think like the casino, not the gambler. The gambler hopes to get lucky, but the casino understands the odds. A good bet is one that's likely to get you what you want, with as little risk as possible and is better than the alternatives. A good strategy raises the odds of success. That's what makes it a good strategy. And that's why the best way to judge your strategy is in advance. And that's the end, or maybe not. Please feel free to contact me for solutions to many strategy problems. And I love talking about this stuff. I hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.